Good morning, guys. Today we're going to finish how Dorothy saved the Scarecrow, and we're going to write our summary. So we're picking up on page 28. We just have a couple short pages, and then we'll be able to summarize the story together. So again, we're looking for key details as we finish the story so we know what to add to the end of our summary. When we left off, Dorothy and the Scarecrow were on their way, just beginning their journey, to the Emerald City down the yellow brick road. They walked back to the road. Dorothy helped him over the fence, and they started along the path of the yellow brick toward the Emerald City. Toto did not like this addition to the party at first. He smelled around the stuffed man as if he suspected there might be a nest of rats in the straw, and he often growled in an unfriendly way at the Scarecrow. "Don't mind Toto," said Dorothy to her new friend. "He never bites." "Anything key here?" "No, not really. This is just giving us some details along their journey of how Toto, the dog, feels." "Oh, I'm not afraid," replied the Scarecrow. "He can't hurt the straw." I like this little sentence from the Scarecrow because it reminds us that he can't feel anything. "Do let me carry that basket for you. I shall not mind it, for I can't get tired." Again, another reminder that there's a lot of things he can't feel or do. And again, this action tells us a lot about the Scarecrow. He's being very kind, offering to carry the basket. "I'll tell you a secret," he continued as he walked along. "There is only one thing in the world I am afraid of." Ooh, that kind of sounds important. I don't know about you guys, but there's more than one thing in the world that I'm afraid of. I'm going to put my little exclamation mark here. It's kind of like, ooh. "What is that?" asked Dorothy. "The Munchkin farmer who made you?" "No," answered the Scarecrow. "It's a lighted match." It's kind of funny. So I would say that this might be a final key detail for today because it's the only one thing he's afraid of. And you never know, we don't have the rest of the story, but it could lead to a problem the Scarecrow may have. So that ends chapter 3 from the excerpt of Wizard of Oz. I'd like for you to get out your notebook. And at the top of my notebook, I just wrote summary. I put today's date and how Dorothy saved the Scarecrow. Put that in quotation marks because it's not actually a book. It's an excerpt from a book. And now we're going to look back in our reading book together from the very beginning to kind of look at what we marked as our key details. So as I look back to the first page, we decided that the first key detail we saw was that Dorothy is on her way and she meets the Scarecrow. And the next detail I saw is that the Scarecrow is alive. He's not just a regular Scarecrow. He's a kind and polite Scarecrow. So we can combine those key details into one sentence, friends. So we're going to say, Dorothy... Ooh, and we can also combine another detail. Where is Dorothy headed? Yes, she's headed to the Emerald City. So we could say, Dorothy meets a kind Scarecrow on her way to Emerald City. And I'm going to add why she's going. Where she will ask Oz to send her home. Because I don't know if you guys remember, that was also another key detail that we noted when we were making our notes as we read. So we have Dorothy meets the Scarecrow. We added that he was kind. If he's kind, are we already letting our reader or whomever who's reading our summary know that he must be alive? Absolutely, because a dead Scarecrow or a true Scarecrow, an adamant Scarecrow, which means he's unable to be animated or alive, couldn't be kind, right? He would just be sitting there. So that by adding the detail kind, I'm allowing my reader to know that he must be able to have actions or dialogue that show me he's kind. We want to add that she takes the Scarecrow down off his pole. On page 26, we highlighted that she's on her way to Oz to ask to go back to Kansas. We added that to our first sentence already. Then we start seeing the details about the Scarecrow that are important to why he's going to join Dorothy on her journey. So we'll want to add that, and we can slide in that Dorothy removes him off the pole, and then he shares with her he has no brains and joins her on her journey to Oz. So, or to the Emerald City. So let's say, she took him down first. So let's say, Dorothy took the Scarecrow off his pole so he could go with her to ask Oz for some brains. So he can think for himself. And I know today, as we're writing, I'm having a moment. I know today we noted that the Scarecrow is only afraid of a lighted match, and that might be an important detail for understanding the Scarecrow, but I'm changing my mind. I've decided that's not a key detail to add to my summary, because that doesn't have anything to do right now with our plot. If the story had continued, we may have wanted to note that, because maybe the next thing that happens is they come across some kind of evil character who tries to light them on fire. But I'm going to change my mind. So even I sometimes have a reflection where I can change my mind and say, no, it was an important detail for understanding the Scarecrow and who he is and his character, but not necessarily a key detail for a summary. So if we reread our summary, we should see kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end of our story that we've read together. Dorothy meets a kind Scarecrow on her way to Emerald City, where she will ask Oz to send her home. Dorothy took the Scarecrow off his pole so he could go with her to ask Oz for some brains so he can think for himself. Does that cover the beginning? Dorothy's on her way to Oz. The middle, she meets the Scarecrow and they have all that discussion. And the end, they're on their way to Oz. It did, okay? It did. And if you notice, we went back to the beginning of the story. So when you have those questions on your assessments that say, summarize what would go in a summary, but then put them in order, notice we went back to the beginning. We went to the beginning of the story. We noted the details we made along the way and put them in order. We didn't flip-flop them and say something that comes first that makes our summary out of sequence. All right, my friends, make sure you get this written down. Don't forget you can pause this and have all the time you need to be able to copy the summary in your notebook. And I would love for you to show this to Miss Corbin today to let her know that you listened, you learned, and you have the proof. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye-bye.